for the Rise today here. What were your initial thoughts on the whole day?
I think we came out firing in the first two sets, and I think Vegas came out the same way in the third and fourth for them, and then we started to worry about their side of the net than ours, so I think that's where we kind of lacked the third, fourth, and fifth, but Vegas is a good team, so I guess good job to them, but we have a lot of work to do. So
You mentioned the hot start for the team, and you obviously had a number of kills as well. I think like 15th the first two sets here, but it seemed like their front line and their two middle blockers really started to kind of key in on you and Dimitrova in the last couple sets.
yeah, they had a few switches in the third set that we didn't notice right away that we should have, and we just have to be quicker with those switches.
How hard is it, though, when Vegas starts taking control in such a back-and-forth sets, those two were as well? You guys would come close, Vegas would pull back ahead. To stay focused and try to get back defensively to where you're able to create offense, how hard is that sometimes?
It can be hard, but volleyball is a game of errors, so we all know it's going to happen. We just have to continue to get a few points at a time. We can't just go back, serve once, and then it's their ball. We all have to at least try to be serving three times probably to like win those sets.
So now this team goes back on another 3-match road trip. Maybe not as grueling travel-wise as the one, coast to coast twice and whatnot. But what are some things Grand Rapids going to have to do to improve to get back to 500 on this trip?
I think we're going to have to go back to the service line, serving tough and serving smart, serving at the serving targets that we talk about before the match starts, and then continuing to string points together. Vegas did a really good job about getting 2, 3, 4 points in a row where we're just only getting one. So I think we just got to focus on ourselves and not so much the other side of the net.
Yeah, when you're getting such a high percentage of the touches on the volleyball and it starts to not go your way, what's going through your mind at that point?
I got to start switching things up. I believe in all the rest of my teammates, like for the setter to like start feeding them as well. But in those tough moments, I also believe in myself, and I just need to make better decisions. Our setters are getting really good balls to us, so we just have to be smarter with that.
Yeah, when things started to get tough there in the third set, Coach switched in Mac for Ashley. And then Mac got a lot of time on the court tonight.
Yeah.
What were you seeing from her on the receiving end?
Yeah, Mac is a great player. She brings a lot of fire. She talks a lot on the court, so it's fun to have her in there. And she's a consistent player, so it was really nice to have her. She did good.
With this splitting the two games here at home and then going back out on the road, what's your preparation like to go on that road trip?
One, we need to get rest, get our bodies ready for Columbus, but we just can't let teams creep back in. I feel like we always possibly win like the first two sets, and then we let teams creep back in. So focusing on resting and finishing the job when we need to.
Going out to face Columbus, which is a team you just beat pretty well, does that impact your confidence, or do you try to stay more day by day?
Day by day, I mean, even tonight, like you can see the switch can flip for any team at any given moment. So we know Columbus is a good team and they have really good players. So we just have to be ready to fight.
Amelia, this is obviously a tough loss for the team after the big win last week. Up 2 sets today. What are your whole thoughts on today?
Well, I think we were leading the first 2 sets. I don't think the third set, it was a lack of concentration or something. Maybe they just start, because they had nothing to lose, they start pushing, pressing, and they were leading us the entire set since the beginning. And then they gained their confidence back, and they start making some incredible plays that we couldn't stop, and until the end of the game, basically.
What did you see that Vegas might have changed at the intermission? They started coming back there in that third set.
Well, I think they start pushing their serve. Probably they also make some changes about how they block us. But I think the biggest difference was they were able to score more than they were in the first 2 sets, because first 2 sets we were touching them, defending, and making the transition or after their attacks. And the other 3 sets, it was looking like they are passing, setting, executing, and it was looking easy. So I think that was the difference.
You mentioned the blocking. It seemed
Yeah.
like they were really keen on you and Claire. Their front row was really able to kind of track where the play was going and kind of able to shut you down for a couple sets there.
Yeah, I feel like we start playing a little bit slower and predictable, so it was very tough for us. We were both trying to go different shots, angles, but it was looking like nothing is. It works there everywhere. So, yeah, this is gonna be a good lesson for us. We will face them next week again in the other week after that, after Columbus. So we still think that we have a lot more to give, and looking forward to play the next game against them.
It's another long 3-match road trip for this team. Maybe not as grueling as going back and forth between San Diego and Orlando, but what were some things that you learned from that trip that you're going to try to implement here for this one?
I didn't understand what you mean with that.
Just how long the trip is and how tough that 3-match road trip was, those 3 losses.
Well, it was tough, but you are playing against different teams, so you have to switch over different players in front of you, different situations. So I think it's tough for everyone. Everyone is in the same situation. So who actually is able to change right over and mix a little bit and still be able to be successful will be the winner team, because the schedule is very tough, but it's equal for everyone. So, yeah.
This is something I also asked Claire. When you're getting a lot of the touches on offense and things start not going your way, what's going through your mind at that point?
Well, we know that we'll have most of the focus on the other teams' blocks. They will be trying to stop us, of course. But here is the goodness of the player to find always solutions, which sometimes it's not possible, unfortunately, but that's why we are a team. We cannot wait from 1 or 2 players always to be brilliant. This is where we need to start putting inside different plays so we are not that much predictable, and give a fresh air a little bit to those people who are always under pressure. I don't think, I've been playing for a long time, and I don't get stuck like in my mind after a mistake. I know how I can do it better. But the thing was today, like I said, I was trying to vary the shots, but they were touching everything. So sometimes it can be challenging. It doesn't mean we are not good enough. We will be, and we will be the next game for sure. Yeah.
So you were off the court briefly, what was it, in the 4th set?
Yep.
What did Coach George have anything to say to you at that point?
It was so quick, so we
Yeah.
didn't have opportunity to speak.
All right.
I think the most important for us was to start good tie break and just play together, play faster, and play a little bit different, not always in the same way, because obviously they were stopping our shots and our way of playing, so we needed to change something to be successful at the end, but we couldn't.
Is there anything you'd like to try to implement in order to stay unpredictable going forward?
I think because I play for a long time, with the years, volleyball changed a lot, and I think more fast play makes the other team have trouble, because moving quick, it's difficult, especially if you have 4 hitters that are ready to hit the ball in the same moment. So I think playing faster for us will be the game changer.
Tough match here, tough loss here for Dayton Rice. What were your thoughts on today?
I mean, I think we come out hot the first, second set, and then we go in the locker room, and I think we come out flat. All these teams are good, and we can't afford to think we have it in the bag, and I think we kind of let off the brakes, and I think we have to take it 1 point at a time, and I think we got a little ahead of ourselves. So.
Did you really see any adjustments by Vegas in that after the intermission that kind of maybe led them to come back there?
Yeah, I think they moved some people around, took some people out. Their blocking was really good, the last 3 sets. And I think that's something that we got to work on. I think we come out hot. they pick up on our game plan, and then we're not the ones, that are adjusting. And so that's something that we'll be looking forward to, the next matches.
The hard, maybe in a couple sets they had a few long runs in Vegas there. Was it kind of hard to kind of slow things down and maybe try to get a hold in those third and fourth sets?
Yeah, I mean, I think it hurts us when we get down by 5 points right off the bat, and then you're scraping for points at the entirety game. So I think the more that we can start off strong, the better it is. That way we're not taking the wind out of our sails right off the bat. So that's something we got to do.
We're creeping obviously towards the halfway mark of this season. What are some things that you've really learned about this league, maybe in general, maybe certain teams that you kind of carry and maybe have adjustments as the second half comes along?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, every team is good, and I think the traveling, we got a lot of lots of travel coming up. So the more that we can rest and recover and get our minds right and be able to step on the court and give it our best every time. But everyone's going through stretches of bad travel or injuries, so it's up for grabs, and we've seen that teams are going up, teams are going down. So yeah, it's anyone's match, but it's just who's going to step on the court and give it their all for 2 hours.
You mentioned the traveling. I mean, a 3-match road trip coming up here. One of them is against Vegas again. How important is it to kind of come out on the winning end of this 3-match run?
Yeah, I mean, every day every match we're trying to get the W, but it'd be nice to bring it back to them on their home court. But like I said, it's not getting ahead of ourselves. It's really just taking it 1 point at a time. I truly believe if you can focus on each ball and giving it your best on each contact, you're always in good shape. So I think not getting too ahead of ourselves, taking it 1 match at a time and going from there.
So between your last game and this one, it was a little over a week. How do you use that time to prepare for a team like Vegas that can show you a lot of different looks on offense, being a defensive specialist?
Yeah, there's a lot of different looks for me tonight, but I think as a team, we're just we took the time to kind of rest our bodies, rest our minds. We're working on certain specific things on out of system setting and where to be on defense, being deeper. That's something that I'm working on as a beach player for 6 years. I'm used to being up in the court, so it's a big reminder to be deep because, I'm thinking people are going to hit it straight down, but we have more than one blocker that you normally encounter on the beach. So that's something that I'm working on every day, and that's something that I got to rewire my brain. But it's there. I know I can do it. So, but yeah, each individual is working on going into film. So we all have different things.
Yeah. When there's a lot of points going up on the board on both sides, is it tempting sometimes to move away from that preparation, or what's going on in your brain at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's one less error. It's one thing in practice that we're working on, an out-of-system set that goes perfectly to the outside. Those little minuscule things are what gets us the win at the end. We're not trying to make drastic changes, and we don't have to. I think our team has everything that we need to win. So it's minimal errors, I would say, and I think that kind of just hits us in the third, fourth, fifth sets is when we're racking up those errors right off the bat. So, yeah.
Tough loss here today for the Rise. It's a 2-set loss, a 2-set lead that you ended up losing today. What was kind of your initial thoughts on the whole day?
Well, I thought that we did a great job of coming out and playing really well and making good decisions. And, we weren't playing perfect, but I thought we hung with things and really made good decisions from those imperfections. And, as we went on, we didn't maybe handle ourselves the same way in those moments.
And obviously, it seemed like there were a lot of changes Vegas kind of threw at you after the intermission there. Was it kind of tough to try to keep the team kind of calm and try to get back to the momentum that you had in the first 2 sets?
Well, I think we they came back, they were serving tough. We weren't passing as well, and it was causing some problems with our offense. And then we became a little predictable, and then as you become predictable, their block got better. Our blocking, I thought we had it on. I thought games 1 and 2, we were really doing a great job of getting block touches on a lot of balls, lining up really well, and we kind of went away from that. They took a couple different shots that's okay. We can expect that to happen, but we just got away from our game plan a little bit and then didn't make, adjustments the way we needed to stay tough.
They had a couple of really good stretches in that fourth set as well, but unfortunately, it seemed like whenever the Rise had an opportunity to answer back, the service errors became an issue. I think the team had 11 today. Is that kind of tough to see? Just doing the little things of getting the ball over the net or keeping.
Well, it's like anything. You give away points or you give back points, and we were doing it in bunches in games 2, 3, and 4. I mean, I'm sorry, 3, 4, and 5. But we were not just given 1, but given 2, 3, and you really need to stay away from that. And we gotta make sure that we handle ourselves and answer back quicker and don't hang our heads on that. I think we really saw some of that tonight, and I don't want to see that. And I know the team doesn't want to see that. So we've got to make sure that we're holding tight through that and making those adjustments for Columbus in 2 days.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be a tough turnaround for them, and obviously it's the beginning of a 3-match road trip. But first, looking at the Fury, you've beaten them twice this year. What are some things that the Rise individually are gonna focus on going into that match?
Well, I think the things that we can control on our side, we should really make sure that that's a focus. That part of the game, and knowing that Columbus is a really good team, and they're throwing a couple different players in there, and you just know that they're a strong team, and so they're at home. We've got to go in there. We've got to be totally aggressive and make sure that, like I said, we can control our side.
And this is the second time the team has gone on a 3-match road trip. It's maybe not as going coast to coast like it was earlier in the season, but what were some things you learned from that trip that you can kind of implement this time around to kind of get on the winning end of it?
We're looking a lot of the travel, coming up, and what we'll be looking at, and just knowing that we need to get our rest, and we've got to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies and we're eating well, and really putting ourselves in a position to be ready to go mentally, emotionally, and physically on the court. It takes all of that can take some things out of you, and we want to make sure that we're doing the things that we can to make sure that we're, all together, all on the same page in every area of the game.
So a team like Vegas will show you a lot of different stuff on offense. How do you help your team prepare for an opponent like that?
Well, I think we were really prepared for that, and I thought we executed really well in games 1 and 2, and I think we got away from that in game 3. A couple small adjustments that they made there, but we needed to maybe stay on what our plan was in terms of our defensive end of the game and how we were gonna play, and keep the pressure on from the service line, which is important. You make some misses when you're going for things, but I think that we took a little off of that, and they started to find their groove, and offensively that grew, and didn't get our block positioning as well as we wanted it to be. So just open the door a little bit. Teams are too good in this league to open a door. You can't. I mean, everybody has great players, so it's not like any one team really in this. There's no team that's gone undefeated in this league. Everybody's knocking everybody off. So that shows you the parity, and the parity leads to long sets and long matches, and and it means you better fight for it, and you better make sure that you take care of business when you can.
Yeah. You're going to be playing Vegas again pretty soon after this. Is there a primary takeaway in your mind from this game as you think about?
Well, I'm going to look at Columbus first, and
Okay,
worry about that, and then get to Vegas. Obviously, we will watch tape, and we'll watch many hours of it, and we'll come back and prepare our team, just as we will any other team. And and you do have to get some takeaways, and you have to say, okay, how do we play them? And they'll do the same against us. So that's how it is. We're playing a lot of opponents back to back, week to week, and so you'll see adjustments in the counter moves going on.
Yeah.
So.
You played Columbus last week, and you're playing them again here pretty soon. In that last game against Columbus, you guys did a great job keeping Reagan Cooper from going off like she has in a lot of recent games. Is that something you're focusing on in this game coming up, or something more general?
Well, I think that, it's not just stopping one person because they have enough talent. I thought Megan Courtney did a really good job in that last game, and you saw her using her experience to her advantage, and, you saw their middles getting involved. I thought they did a nice job. I just, you know, I know we were playing well, and so we're going to have to go. I know they're really good. I mean, I've watched them beat a lot of really good teams.
Yeah.
It's not like they're, you know, they're not sleeping and falling. No, we know they're going to be really good. So we'll prepare for that and then worry about Vegas later.
Yeah.
I don't even think you can really jump ahead ever. And even from a start of 2 games win, you got to make sure you're staying on it and getting you know, getting the job done by staying on point. So got to work on that and take it one step at a time and continue to trust the process and go through them like, look, what are we doing methodically, and make sure that we, you know, get back to that.
Yeah, a bit more of a fluff question here. Kenna Sauer was with Grand
Yeah,
Rapids for
yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
Now she's with Vegas. What was that like for you seeing her here, and have you like what growth
Yeah.
have you seen from her since she was with Grand Rapids?
You know, we love Kenna. She was here. You know, it was sad to see her go, and you know, I was able to see her yesterday. You know, at the practice that we were there, and it was nice to catch up a little bit. And she's doing great. You know, and we knew she was a great player. It's the way it is, and they brought her in, and you know, she struggled at first, and then came back around, and you know, so it was good to see her do well. Wish the best for her, but just wish we would have like stopped her maybe a little bit more. So, you know.